All right, well, welcome everyone to our Saturday transformation call. My name is Brian and I'll be hosting this call. I'm very excited about hosting this call. I'm always excited about these calls. I love hearing the stories of real people, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and every time I just love it. I never get bored of these stories, and it's just a great opportunity to be able to share what it is that so many of us have in our hands and have benefited from. And I feel almost obligated every time to share these stories and other stories and to be able to help inspire other people to do better in their life. And I think that's the real thing right there, is just to inspire other people to have a better life. And so many people are looking for a better life. So many people are looking for better health, better finances. They're looking for something that's going to help them in their life, and they're also looking for ways to help others. And I've been doing this now for 14 years. And when I started, I was unhealthy. I had no energy. I didn't really have a zest for life as much as I do now. I love helping people. I love seeing the transformations, and what we have and what we're going to talk about today is predictable transformations that can happen for everybody, not just for us, but for those of you on the call. So I welcome you on the call, and I hope that today you are inspired. You are inspired to do better in your life in different ways, and we can really help you do that. So let's talk. Let's go ahead and have our first guest speaker on and hear her story. So Heather is going to be on right now. Heather, are you there?
I am, Brian, and I'm just so honored to be here. It's just humbling to get to share my story with other people. So I'm just going to go right into it because I know that's what people want to hear.
Yep.
And so a little bit about me. I had struggled with obesity for 20 plus years of my life. Almost since the beginning of my marriage, I was in a severe car wreck and was in bed for several weeks and really just never recovered from it. Turned to food for comfort and continued over 20 years of marriage in my life to go from being overweight to obese to morbidly obese. And honestly, we like to say that even when we're not sick, we're not healthy, and that's where I really was in my life. I wasn't at a healthy place in my body. I wasn't in a healthy place in my mind, and emotionally, my body was slowly deteriorating on the outside, and really, honestly, felt like I was, dying on the inside. And I kind of hit a place after I hit 40, where I just started to see the physical results of my obesity on my body. I have flat feet. My arches started collapsing, and I was wearing braces on my feet. I didn't tell my family this, but really had gotten to a place where I couldn't walk. And I just had that glimpse of my future of potentially being wheelchair bound, and was very, very scared that that's where I was headed with my health. And then I think, like so many people, we get that dreaded Facebook tag, and mine came up in the middle of the night. And I was tagged on Facebook in a photo that I didn't know was coming up. And, I saw it and just really feel like for the first time my eyes were open to where I was in my health, physically, on the outside and on the inside. You couldn't see the chair. And I was horrified. I quickly tried to untag myself. And then I realized, that's how everybody sees me. I mean, that is who I am. And while I didn't want to believe that, that was the reality of where I was in my life. So probably like so many people on here, I had seen my friend Sherry sharing her journey, her health journey on Facebook. And just in a moment in the middle of the night, reached out to her and just said, I need your help. And I had never really talked about it with anybody else. And she so graciously responded in the middle of the night and said, call me tomorrow. Let's talk. And so I honestly didn't care what I was going to do at this point. I just knew I needed to get healthy. And Sherry just said, I want to help you. And so I started on this amazing program, and with the support of Sherry as my health coach. And it was interesting. I stepped on the scale on my first day, and I weighed 27 more pounds than I thought I did. And so that was a defining moment for me where I realized this can either take me under or it can just motivate me more to get healthy in my life. And so I just thought, well, that's just 27 more pounds to lose. I know I can do it. And so I started my journey at 257 pounds, and in 13 months went on to lose right at 130 pounds. And just to say that my life has been transformed doesn't even do it justice. I just feel like I was living in a coma for 20 something years, and I woke up to what it was like to live a healthy life, and just the full joy of health, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and just peeling back those layers as the pounds fell off, and just opening my eyes to what it was to live a fully healthy life. And so what I started as a journey for myself and felt kind of was self-focused, the ripple effect of that in my family has just been so amazing. My husband went on to lose 50, my son 100. And then I've just been blessed in my own life to become a health coach myself. And just getting to see that transformation in other people's lives has been so amazing. So that girl laying in that bed in 2013, never in a million years, and believed she would end up having the opportunity to do things like be on the pages of People magazine, half their size edition, and to be able to share my story on Good Morning America. It's just been such an incredible journey. But honestly, I'm just one person that's had an opportunity to share my story, but my story is reflective of thousands of people that I know personally that have been able to change their lives. So it's just an honor to represent them in that way. But mine's just one of many, many, many stories. And I'm so honored to just get to share about this program and what this program and health coaching has done for my life and transformed all areas of my life. And it's just such a blessing. And I'm just thrilled to get to be here and share that. So I just want to give others hope that they can have transformation in their lives. We're not an exception. Yep. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Heather. And I could definitely feel the emotion, from you, being where you were and where you are now. Such a traumatic difference. And it's just, you're right. There's tens of thousands of stories like this where people have literally transformed their lives. And whether you're talking about health or other areas, we can help you in those areas. I mean, I lost 20 pounds and been able to keep that off now, for 14 years. I mean, it's and it's not about losing weight, is it? It's about getting healthy. Wherever you are in your life, we can help you move forward in your life. So thank you so much, Heather. Truly inspirational. Next, we have, as a guest speaker, we have Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken, are you there?
I am, Brian.
Hey, I'm sitting here looking at a picture of you, and you've transformed.
You might say that, Brian. And first, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story and hope that it touches somebody and inspires them to get on the road to optimal health. I had, and I still do, have a great life. Back about 8 years ago, however, I was working in a chiropractic practice that was extremely busy, and life was good, except I was so busy working the number of hours to see the number of patients that I was seeing that my health kind of went on the back burner. And one of the things that I loved to do after work was to come home and play basketball with my son, who at the time was 7 years old. And one night I came home, started playing ball with him, and within 10 minutes, I noticed I was sweating a lot more than I normally did. And I honestly thought I was having a heart attack right there on my driveway. So try to tell a 7-year-old why daddy can't play anymore. So that was a big health scare and wake-up call for me. And I happened to have a friend of mine, another physician in the community, that was talking to me about this program to get healthy and also to help my patients get healthy. Well, as soon as I got up off the driveway, I went in my house and I called my friend Bill. And I said, Bill, I'm ready. He came over, helped me get started on this program. It was the easiest thing I had ever done. I wound up being able to lose 60 pounds in a very short period of time, regained my health. And what happened was people started to notice. My patients started to notice, friends, family, everybody. And they started to ask me, can we do this also? So I called up my coach and I said, Bill, I want to help these people. What's next? And he says, real simple. You can become a coach and help them the same way that I helped you. So I was like, I have a very, very busy practice. I don't know how much time I have to devote to this, but I want to help people get the same results that I did. So I started coaching some people and helping them and empowering them to take control of their lives. And as time went on, it became amazing. The best times of the day was when I walked into a treatment room and it was somebody that was doing the program with me. Instead of the normal meeting, I'd get greeted with a hug, telling me how much weight they had lost. It was just amazing. And what I noticed at that time also, I did very well financially as a chiropractor in a busy practice. But I started to notice that the health coaching opportunity became quite a great financial opportunity for me as well. And believe it or not, Brian, within a year and a half of doing my little part-time health coaching out of my office and out of my home, I actually matched my income in full-time practice. So now I had some decisions to make. I enjoy taking care of people. That's why I'm a third-generation chiropractor. But I realized that coaching would give me an opportunity to expand my reach way outside of my home, my office, my community, my state, everywhere. So I made the transition to become a full-time health coach after I matched that income I had in my practice. It's been now about 6 years that I've been doing this as a full-time coach. And I have to tell you, I have touched more lives with this program than I could ever touch in a small office in the town that I work in. So not only has this transformed my life, but that 7-year-old I told you about is now 16, and he has to ask his dad to take breaks because he can't keep up with me anymore, Brian.
That's great, Ken. That's a great story. I love it. And that's, think about that. I mean, being able to play basketball with your kid, being able to outdo him. I got 7 kids myself, so I know that that's important, and also just being able to keep up with them and being able to live life, and truly live life. And you have helped so many people, as has all the people that are on this call today, with their health, because they're, that's what we do. We pay it forward. We pay it forward, and like I said earlier, I feel obligated to do so because it just changed my life. Why wouldn't I share it with somebody else? So thank you so much, Ken, Dr. Ken.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we have another story here. Carissa, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Carissa, you have a little bit different story, a little bit story than the other ones, but go ahead and share your story.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I just love hearing, stories, and it just brings me hope again. It fills me up. So, about 2 years ago, I reconnected with some friends who, some dear friends of mine who lost over 100 pounds on this program. But not only did they lose 100 pounds, but the hope that they were sharing and giving to others was something that I wanted to do for myself. But just going through circumstances and hard times, fast forward about 6 months, I found myself going through a separation that ultimately actually led to a devastating divorce. Here I am with 3 small children. I have a 3-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old. So I'm sitting here. I was a stay-at-home mom for the past 9 years. I did not work outside of the home. But sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, I cannot give up this being a stay-at-home mom with the kids. And at that moment, I remembered my friends. I called her and I said, Tia, I'm ready. I may not need to lose any weight on the program, but I'm ready to get on and I'm ready to help others. At that time, within a week on program, I realized I do need this program. My habits weren't the best eating. So that healthy habits, just within that week, a full program has just changed me. And I think sometimes, people see me, a single mom, they want to feel sorry for you. Oh, she's a single mom, she's just surviving. But one thing this program has given me was it not only made me survive, but actually thrived. I thrived in my health. I actually have all the energy I need using the meal replacements to go to the soccer events, go to the football events, and not need that second, third cup of coffee because I've learned how to fuel my body right. I'm thriving in my mind. Going through a divorce, that's devastating. You need healing. Your mind's not healthy. And me not focusing on myself, but actually becoming a health coach and focusing on other people has brought, breakthrough in my mind as well. And the third thing, financially, being a stay-at-home mom, being present with my children, being a full-time health coach, I'm not just surviving, I'm actually thriving in my finances. A couple months ago, I took my kids to Disneyland for 3 days because of what this program has done for me. So my story might not look like everybody else's where I have this before and after picture, but your story could just be the same story that changed somebody else's life. So Brian, thank you so much for having me on, and I'm just so grateful for this program and that I said yes to becoming a health coach.
Wow, thank you so much, Carissa. And you said something about focusing on others. It helps you in your situation. That's so true. And you did go through a devastating thing, and mentally, this has helped you. And also, obviously, financially, you can be home with your kids. And like you said, you did have a story with health. And so many people don't understand that. It's not about weight loss. It's about helping people with health and having a better life with your health, even if you don't have weight to lose. There's a lot of people that are in that situation. And just about everybody in America can benefit from what we have to offer in different areas of their life. So thank you so much, Carissa. Now we've got Dom and Rita. Dom and Rita, are you there?
Yes, we are, Brian. We are here.
Here we are.
Take it away.
Yeah, there's one of those after pictures are missing with my shirt on. They click it one more time, you can probably see the after, but if not, no worries. Because this picture with the suit on is taken at the Royal Caribbean cruise ship. And I think my high water mark before I started this program was 245 pounds. Now, to put this in perspective, when I was a teenager, I was played sports and I was at a healthy weight. In fact, I was fit, I was lean, and to see myself at age 45 being so heavy, and it's just like I just couldn't accept it in my mind. I was like in denial. I know some of our panelists had mentioned that earlier. It's just like the vision of what I was supposed to look like in my 40s was nowhere near what I was looking at in the mirror, and it really was getting me upset. And I had my aha moment on the cruise ship when happenstance, I would bump into one of my old high school buddies that I used to play soccer with. And, he lived in Kansas City. I live in New York. We're on this cruise ship in the Caribbean, and I'm looking at this guy running around. I was like, I know that guy. And so I introduced myself. There it is. And and he couldn't recognize me because I was so heavy. I looked nothing like I did when I was playing soccer in high school. And it really frustrated me because how could he stay healthy? And all of a sudden, I was so unhealthy. And if you think about, it was 30 years when I had, from high school previously when we were playing soccer. But you think about just gaining 2 pounds a year. It seems pretty innocent enough. But 30 years later, you're 60 pounds overweight. Right. And I know your starting point, Rita, was, not too bad like I was, but you had some goals that you wanted to accomplish.
Right. So here I am, my before picture. And some of you are thinking, gee, that's not, you don't look that heavy. But I was 30 pounds overweight. And the reason why I found that out was because I had gone to my physician. Here I am, 40 years old, taking a physical, and he did some blood work, and he said, well, you're 30 pounds overweight, and I'm going to have to prescribe some blood pressure medication and some type 2 diabetic medication. And my heart just sank to the floor, because those things run in both sides of my family. And here I am at 40 years old. I've exercised all my life, love doing exercise. And so I'm just, just kind of crying and saying, no, I am not doing that. I'm way too young. What else we can do? So he said, well, I think if you lose 30 pounds and we, rerun all the blood works, we'll see where you're at. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? But 3 weeks later, we got a call from a really good friend and introduced us to this program. And in 3 months, I was able to go from a size 12 dress to a size 6, lost my 30 pounds. And fast forward to today, 10 years later, I am happy to say I'm medication free. I've never taken the medication that he was ready to prescribe for me. And so excited, so mentally and physically, it's just been a godsend, really.
And, listen, results not typical for everybody. These pictures for us are 4 months apart. So 11 years ago, when we started this program, 4 months later, we're like whole new people. Talk about transformation. And that's where, people ask you, what did you do? And they, of course, weight loss is so visual, and you get to, inspire a lot of people, and they want to know, they're curious. And, back then we really didn't have any kind of Facebook presence. So it was just, going around meeting people at work and family, and going to events and parties and barbecues and the ball field with our kids, because we have 4 kids.
Right. So, so this is where we were. We've lost our weight. We had all these people asking. I have 4 boys. I work full time. I ran a daycare. And I was doing that 12 hours a day. I had 4 boys, 16, 13, 9, and 3 years old. And they were doing, of course, they were doing baseball, soccer, football. I had this minivan. So right after work, I was shuffling them all over the place. So when I had all these people asking me what I was doing and how did we lose our weight, I, got back to my health coach and said, what do I do? I really would like to help people and pay it forward. I have just these, few people, handful of people. And he said, okay, why don't you become a health coach? I will help you. I will support you, and we can get this done. And I just, at first I really was hesitant, because I did not see where I could find the time to do it. Though I wanted to do it and was willing to help others, time was a really big issue for me, and I really didn't have a lot of money to invest in anything at that point. But he assured me that, he would be supportive, and we would carve out some time. And that's how I got started. And I did that on my own for about a year. And so me and my health coach, just were rolling along, and I was having a ton of fun. It was so much fun. Within 6 months, I closed my daycare. And even today, it's just so much fun to pay it forward. And I love what we do every day. But I did that for about a year. And Dominic kept saying, what are you doing? You're going to Gymboree class. You're taking the 3-year-old to swim class. And you're making this much money. At that point, they were mailing us the checks, so they would come open. And I was like, what is with the mailman opening my mail? But anyway.
That would be me.
Right. So I found out that it was Dominic. He would open them and then try to reseal them.
I'm so curious to find out, because I really had no interest in the business at that time. And so, Rita, of course, not interesting. If you're not interested, you can't have the money.
Right.
So. But here's the thing about, just, working together and having your own careers separately, and then being able to have something together when you've been married for a while. We've been together for a long time. We love spending time with each other. And the daycare was causing stress with Rita. I had a job, working, in the construction industry. That was very stressful. And, we really had our jobs and our careers pulling us apart. Now, when this program came to Rita and she became a coach, okay, so within that 6 months, daycare's closed. She went from 50 hours a week to 10 or 15 hours a week. The stress was out of her life. Now, it's good when your wife is happy. Okay, so, you know, happy wife, happy life. But, and so I was very excited that she was not under stress anymore and she was in a better mood. But I was getting more and more stressed out. So I couldn't really enjoy it as much as I like to. And so then I had encouragement from my coach to say, you know what, why don't you join Rita? You guys can do it together. And it's like, yeah, why am I chasing careers? You know, for a long period of time, Brian, I tried to just, you know, work my way to success by just pounding out the hours, doing whatever it takes, round the clock. I'm gonna work, you know, myself to death, but I'm gonna make it work. And understanding that it's hard to do anything of significance on your own. You need help. And I can tell you that when I joined Rita and I became part of this community, what was revealed to me was one of the most powerful business models I've ever seen in my life. That you can actually help others and do well yourself and have a life that actually makes a difference, a life of significance where it's not just you succeeding. Hey, listen, you want to be an investor or this and that, and maybe you can make it on your own if you're lucky enough. But you know what? You might be you know, all alone with all your money. But with our program, you're helping other people not just do well health-wise, healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. So now when we have time to, you know, we have, the finances to be able to do the things that we never were able to do before, but now we have friends to be able to do it with. And how cool is that, Brian? And so it's completely changed. I look out, you know, it's a winter day here in New York. I remember prior to getting involved with this business that, you know, I was hoping that I wouldn't run out of fuel oil on a cold winter day. You know, getting a whole delivery, getting your tank full, you know, a lot of times I didn't have money for that. I used to go get a 5-gallon can of diesel fuel and fill up my oil tank just to get through a day and a half of heating my house. And so as a father with 4 kids, you know, that didn't really make me feel so good. I was not succeeding to my potential at all. And if anything, this whole program and community of health coaching was able to help me maximize some of the potential. Now, I still got a long way to go. But boy, I tell you, from where we were, it's amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dom and Rita, and thanks to all of our guests today. You know, you were talking a little bit about what you're going through, Dom, as a contractor and not being able to fill up that tank. I remember I was a contractor at one time, and I don't miss it at all. Today, I love helping people. I love paying it forward. And the cool thing about paying it forward is we don't make a dime unless somebody gets healthy.
That's right.
It's all about somebody's health, and it's about health in those 3 areas that you just mentioned. So those of you listening today, and by the way, those of you that are on the phone, you'll be able to look at this again, watch this again on YouTube, and see the pictures that some of these folks were talking about. They're pretty amazing. But you know, it's really about what you want. It's really about what is it in your life today that, you know, what can we help you with? And the person that invited you on this cared enough to invite you on to this call today, and to listen to these stories and to hear these stories. And again, we have thousands of stories like this, tens of thousands of stories like this. So this is something that can happen to you. You can experience that predictable transformation if you so desire. Get with the person that invited you on the call. And if you're interested in being a client, get going. Get going. You know, have better health in your life. If you're interested in being a coach, get going. You know, hearing Carissa's story without any weight loss, you know, really, but she wasn't healthy. But if you look, you know, but she still maybe looked like she was healthy. But it really is about bettering your life, moving your life forward. You know, today is the day to start. Today is the day to change. And we can help not only change your life, we can help you stay in that environment that'll help you be a better person continually. That's what I love about this. That's what I love about this program. That's what I love about this business. When we talk about healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, we're not just talking, we're not just blowing smoke. We're talking real stories, true stories. We're talking real inspiration and something that can help you in your whole entire life from starting right now. So get in touch with the person that invited you on this call today. And when you see it on YouTube, share it with other people. Share it with other people. Pay it forward. I know every time I see a good movie, I want to tell everybody about it. This is better than a good movie. This is your life. So thank you so much for being on today, and have a wonderful weekend.